Brazilian family loses 1 hour inside alien craft. The medical evidence doctors can't explain. An entire family vanished inside a flying object for 60 minutes. What they did to them in there changed their lives forever. And the doctors who examined them that night confirmed something science cannot explain. What you're about to discover happened 24 years ago in Brazil and remains one of the most documented abduction cases in all of Latin America. This isn't an internet story. This isn't a rumor. This is the testimony of 4 people who were medically examined by licensed professionals immediately after the incident. And what they found in their bodies defies all logical explanation. December 13th, 2000. A date the Cayana family will never forget. Juan was driving his car down a dark road in rural Brazil. With him were his wife, Rosa, his 19-year-old daughter, Maji, and his 3-year-old granddaughter, Lavinia. It was a familiar route, a road they had traveled dozens of times visiting friends in the region. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary that night until everything changed in a matter of seconds. It was approximately 10 p.m. when Maji saw something impossible in the sky. An intense light appeared over the highway, but this wasn't an ordinary light. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't a helicopter. It was something that defies the laws of physics as we know them. "Dad, that's a spaceship," Maji shouted. Juan tried to stay calm, but as they got closer, the light became brighter and brighter. The entire object illuminated before them. Maji estimated it measured approximately 10 meters wide by 6 meters tall, a massive object hovering over the road. Then they felt the cold, an unnatural cold that penetrated to the bone. The temperature inside the car dropped so rapidly that Rosa began shaking uncontrollably. She couldn't breathe. The air had become thick and heavy, and at that moment, everyone fell silent. Absolute silence, as if an invisible force had stolen their ability to speak. Juan remembers thinking, "God, please protect my family." And then the unthinkable happened. The car was no longer on the road. Somehow they had been lifted off the ground. They were inside something, a structure that didn't belong to this world. For the next 60 minutes, the Cayana family experienced something that would change their lives forever. But here's the most disturbing part. They don't remember what happened during that time. Their memories were erased, except for fragments, pieces of recollections that appeared like flashes in their minds. Little Lavinia, only 3 years old, remembered the most details, and what she described will chill your blood. During a hypnotic regression session years later, Lavinia revealed something terrifying. She remembered a being approximately her height, a creature that gave her a dark, dirty liquid to drink. Dirty water, she remembers thinking. After forcing her to drink that liquid, they placed her in a device that spun around and around without stopping. The child vomited violently. But wait, because this is just the beginning of something much bigger. When the family regained consciousness, they were back in the car, but now they were 300 meters ahead of where they had been taken. The engine was still running. Rosa was the first to speak. "They're letting us go," she said in a trembling voice. Juan saw the road far below still. They were descending from considerable height. The fear of crashing into the ground was real and paralyzing. When the wheels finally touched the asphalt, Juan floored the accelerator. He had to get his family to safety. He had to find help. They arrived at the hospital in Itarama just before 11 p.m. Dr. Luis Carlos Vieira was on duty. What he saw that night left him speechless. 4 completely terrified people entered, but it wasn't just the terror on their faces that caught the doctor's attention. It was something physically impossible to ignore. Everyone's hair was completely standing on end, upright, as if they had received a massive electrical shock. Dr. Vieira immediately began examining them. Blood pressure, temperature, pulse, all 4 showed identical readings, elevated, abnormal. Their bodies had experienced something traumatic. But there's one detail Dr. Vieira will never forget, a detail that confirms this family wasn't lying. Little Lavinia was taken for x-rays. The doctor took advantage of that moment to speak with the child alone, away from the adults. He wanted to know if the story would remain consistent, And what the 3-year-old girl told him was exactly the same as what the adults had related, word for word, detail for detail. A child that age cannot invent such a complex story and keep it consistent under pressure. Dr. Vieira knew it in that moment. This family experienced something real, something medicine couldn't explain. Do you believe there's life on other planets? Do you believe beings from other worlds visit us? Leave it in the comments, because what comes next will make you question everything you thought you knew about our reality. The Cayana family's story spread like wildfire. Newspapers, UFO specialty magazines, television programs. The entire country learned about the case. But with fame came something unexpected: rejection. The people of Itarama didn't believe them. Worse still, they attacked them. People walked past their house shouting insults. They threw rocks at the windows. They left threatening notes. The family seriously considered moving from the city. The pain of not being believed was almost as great as the trauma of the abduction itself. Juan did something few abductees do. He turned his home into a sanctuary of truth. The walls of his living room are covered with images of spaceships, newspaper clippings, magazine articles. Every piece of evidence he could collect is there, a constant reminder that what happened to them was real. But there's something deeper here, something that reveals the true nature of this encounter. Juan isn't afraid of the extraterrestrials. In fact, he considers them brothers. He'd rather walk alone at night with them nearby than be accompanied by another human being, because humans can hurt you, he says, but they never would. Rosa, on the other hand, lives terrified. More than 22 years have passed, and she still can't talk about it without feeling the same panic from that night. When the TV crew took her back to the abduction site in 2015, she was trembling. Her eyes constantly scanned the sky, searching, fearing, praying not to see that light again. For her, it was torture, she says, a suffering she relives every time someone mentions that night. Maji, the daughter, and Lavinia, the granddaughter, refuse to return to the place. The trauma is too deep, too real. But something extraordinary happened during that 2015 filming. While the TV crew interviewed Juan, a light appeared in the sky, a light that moved erratically, fast, unpredictable. The cameraman tried to follow it, but it disappeared in seconds. The technicians couldn't explain what it was, but Juan knew immediately. It's a craft, he said with absolute certainty. They're still here, still watching, still observing. During the hypnotic regression sessions, the family remembered more fragmented details: short-statured beings, grayish skin, large, dark eyes. Maji managed to draw the creature she saw. It's a portrait that matches thousands of other testimonies around the world. The so-called Greys, the most reported extraterrestrial race in abduction cases. But there's something more in this case, something that sets them apart. Juan claims what they did to him was beneficial, that his system changed after that night, that if it had been bad, they never would have returned them. This is a rare perspective among abductees. Most describe terror, trauma, but Juan speaks of brotherhood, of purpose. Skeptics will say it was mass hallucination, that 4 people experienced the same delusion simultaneously, but that explanation crumbles before the physical evidence. The doctor who examined them confirmed anomalies in their bodies: the standing hair, the identical and elevated vital readings, the consistent testimony of a 3-year-old. These aren't symptoms of hallucination, they're symptoms of exposure to something real, something powerful, something modern science cannot categorize. And here's the question nobody wants to ask. If this happened to the Cayana family in the year 2000 on a remote Brazilian road, how many other similar cases are occurring right now? How many families are being taken, studied, returned with their memories altered? The statistic is terrifying. It's estimated that millions of people around the world have experienced close encounters, but most never reported, out of fear, out of shame, because of the social rejection that inevitably follows. The Cayana family had the courage to speak up. They paid the price, but their testimony remains as one of the most solid pieces of evidence that we're not alone, that beings from other worlds visit us, observe us, and occasionally take us with them. The why remains the greatest mystery, but one thing is clear:
After 24 years, this family is still marked by what they experienced that December night. Their lives never returned to normal. If this case impacted you, you need to subscribe to this channel right now, because I have dozens of similar cases documented with medical evidence and testimonies that science cannot refute. In the next video, I'll show you the case of a military pilot who chased a UFO for 40 minutes and was silenced by his government. You can't miss it. And now, tell me in the comments, what would you do if that light appeared in front of your car tonight? Would you run, or would you stay to discover the truth? Write it below, because your answer could save your life someday.